Express yourself, don't make yourself stop. Express yourself, you'll be feeling on top. I don't know how to say this, how to tell you can't resist. Boy, when you put on a show, I hit the floor, my legs go jelly. I'm going coconut, I'm feeling it too much. I'm going coconut, my legs feel like jelly. Getting frisky, boy, talk to me, baby, turning red like a cherry. Oh, I'm going coconut, getting wavy like. We can do this all night, making jello delight. We can do this all night, come and get it tonight. Oh, getting frisky, boy, talk to me, baby, turning red like a cherry. Oh, I'm going coconut. Don't be hiding when you need and take a chance on the spot. Don't be spilling milkshake, give it all you got. Express yourself, don't make yourself stop. Express yourself, you'll be feeling on top. I don't know how to say this, how to tell you can't resist. Boy, when you put on a show, I hit the floor, my legs go jelly. I wanna be so very, I wanna feel like every moment is alive. Heavy, my heart tells me I'm ready. You take me on the roller coaster of my life. My legs go I don't know how to say this, how to tell you can't resist. Boy, when you put on a show, I hit the floor, my legs go jelly. I'm going coconut, I'm feeling it too much. I'm going coconut, my legs feel like jelly. Getting frisky, boy, talk to me, baby, turning red like a cherry. Oh, I'm going coconut, getting. We can do this all night, making jello delight. We can do this all night, come and get it tonight. Oh, getting frisky, boy, talk to me, baby, turning red like a cherry. Oh, I'm going coconut. We can do this all night, making jello delight. We can do this all night, come and get it tonight. My legs go jelly.
So where did we leave off? The last time I remember, it was late December, sitting out in the parking lot, taking midnight drives on the empty highway. It feels like so long ago, but like yesterday too, you know. Now we just wanna go back again, and I can't help thinking about that feeling. Here where we wanna be, different but still I be. Now it's clear, we can do whatever, 'cause you're right here. Crossing off the days, now I'm on my way. It feels like so long ago, but like yesterday too, you know. Now we just wanna go back again, and I can't help thinking about that feeling. Here where we wanna be, different but still I be. Now it's clear, too, you know. Now we just wanna go back again. And I can't help thinking about that feeling. Here where we wanna be. Different city. Now it's clear we can do whatever 'cause you're right here. Here where we wanna be. Different city. Now it's clear we can do whatever 'cause you're right here.
Oh, out there, little shooting star. I see you falling, burning for a space so far. An astronaut in the gravity. You're a rocket in the pocket of a raging sea. Alone, no road, you wanna get out. Late night, no light, we gotta fight it out. Hold tight, you're overdue. If you're lost in the blue, I'll reach like a comet to you. Again and again and I'll move. Galaxies open for you. Again and again and I'll light up the rocket and reach like a comet to you. An open door on your bedroom floor. Stay awake with me and we can go explore. Keeping time with me, little shooting star. And I will play the bass to your electric heart. No sweat, forget, paying me back at all. Just swing that thing whether you fly or fall down. You're quite a view. If you're lost in the blue, I'll reach like a comet to you. Again and again and I'll move. Galaxies open for you. Again and again and I'll light up the rocket and reach like a comet to you. Come on, comet, comet. Come on, comet, comet. Come on, comet, comet. I'll reach like a comet to you. Come on, comet, comet. Come on, comet, comet. Come on, comet, comet. Bright as the midnight moon.
Wow. And that will do it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike, how's it going? Checking 1, 2.
Living the dream.
This is it. One of our favorite nights of the year. Live seating show. They're here. The triangles must be satisfied. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Got a couple triangles to sort through. Got some craziness with head-to-heads on the last day of the season. It's going to be a fun show. We got some big announcements.
We do. We have a major Overwatch announcement to drop. Very exciting.
We've got our brackets to reveal. We've got our all-stars to announce. Those players recognized by their and other coaches. We got the road to Brookdale begins now.
Absolutely. State finals will be February 24th at Brookdale Community College. Signed, sealed, ready to go. More teams than ever before are going to be competing to be a state champion. We got Omega Strikers. We got Street Fighter 6 for the first time. And we got Overwatch. It's going to be fantastic. And speaking of Overwatch, I see you're sporting a hat there, sir. Why don't you tell us about that?
Oh, this old thing?
That old thing.
This old thing. So I've got a University of New Haven Chargers hat. That is to honor my senior captain, Nick Lever, who recently committed to University of New Haven, first in school history from the esports program, going to play for their Overwatch team, getting a nice little scholarship.
There it is.
Just one of the things that he's not the first in GSE. He won't be the last. But I just wanted to rep a little bit, a little school rep while we do the show, and just throw it out there that is something that absolutely happens every single year for our esports athletes here in
Absolutely.
in New
It's
Jersey.
not just about winning the belt. We do what, about a dozen kids a year want to get scholarships to play at various places. I think probably our most high profile is Rock Boom. If anybody's following Rock Boom, playing League of Legends over up at St. Clair's, and was just in the national championship last year, and I believe he was just playing not too long ago, last week as well. So we got people playing at the highest level. So and that's what it's about. It's what it's about right now. At least talk about the playoffs and all that good stuff. So what do you think? Should we get to it?
I don't want to be here till midnight, so yeah, let's get started.
All right, let me see what I can do here. We'll do a little of this. We'll do a little of that. We're going to make some magic happen. We're going to do a transition. We're going to show some slides. Here it comes. So, talk us through, Mike, how we score the playoffs, how we come up with our seeds, how seeding is determined.
Yeah, so if you watched the show last fall, this school year, but the fall season, this is new for this school year. We now use a playoff scoring formula. The reason we do that is raw win-loss totals are unfair to some people with shorter schedules. Pure win percentage is unfair to people with longer schedules. Every so often we have these weird numbers of participation where we can't guarantee a match for everybody every week, and so we have these off bye weeks that we have to account for. We just want to make sure that we're crediting schools for every match that they play, whether that is a standard 7-match schedule or whether they got hit with a bye week and they only play 6. And so we weight winning percentage alongside their raw win-loss totals in order to account for that and have an evenly weighted seeding process across the whole league.
Absolutely. And as we get to it, we will explain the now famous triangles. But, we always love to point out, if you're ever looking for an excuse, real-life applications for math, that's the playoff scores. Match win percentage is equal to wins plus ties divided by 2 divided by total played. And you can see how we work through, the formula to eventually come up with a score, which, going through the seeds with the team again, the score is working. The score is doing a nice job. It's fairly capturing big schools, small schools, bye weeks, non-bye weeks. So I think we might have to package this and sell it to some of the pro leagues, but you know, the math, it's shaken out, and you'll see it does pretty well. And as you said, right, we got playoffs, we got head to head, and then you know, I think it's important we point out, like you said, that you can only jump a single spot when it comes to head, right? What it comes down to is when the playoff score is taken into account and everybody is seeded, right? You can, if you beat the team above you, that's when you get to jump them. If you're the 8th seed and you beat the 2nd seed, that doesn't automatically mean that you get to go, you know, take that 2nd seed. You know, having coached and wrestled my entire life, it's like throwing a headlock. You got a lucky headlock doesn't mean you're now the, you know, the number 1 seed in the district, you know, championship, stuff like that. So, and then, you know, if we need to, we flip a coin, which is always the most harrowing part of our online seeding show, because you know, we don't want to drop the coin. So
Yeah, or you have to roll dice 3 times, and your school gets the wrong side of the die every single time.
There
Yeah,
you
that
go.
happens sometimes.
But all right, so let's get into it. Let's talk Omega Strikers. Go ahead and break down, you know, what was a new title, and sadly will be a title moving on. You know, Omega Strikers is leaving us. The studio closing down the game, even though it had a lot of promise. But who will be the forever Omega Strikers champion? Because there will only be one ever state champion. And actually, I think too, we might even have some cool swag from the developer to be able to give away as well.
Yes,
you
we
know.
do. Yeah.
Yeah. So walk us through what's going on with Omega Strikers.
Absolutely. So a couple of things that you're going to see throughout the night. If you're new to the show, just ways that we mark things off. You see the stars next to the top 3 teams there. There were 3 conferences in Omega Strikers. The teams with stars next to their names were conference champions. If you win your conference, you are rewarded with one of the top seeds in the bracket, regardless of your record and playoff score. So that's the reward we give to those teams for winning the regular season, so to speak. So our top 3 seeds this time around are Matawan, West Windsor Plainsboro North, and Hopatcong. And inside the parentheses, in order, you have match record, then individual set record, and then you have playoff score. Just wanted to give all the data there, and then we're going to explain the ties and things like that as we go through. So right off the bat, we got a tie. We had 2 teams that went perfect. They didn't lose a thing. And so then we go through our little flow chart in terms of, you know, best wins, common opponents, things like that. When you have 2 conference champions next to each other and they never play the same opponents, all of their best wins were the same because everybody won everything. And so we go all the way down to strength of schedule, which is the average playoff score of your conference, including yours. So you also contribute to the strength of your conference because you're in there winning stuff. And Matawan actually edges out West Windsor Plainsboro North by a hair on strength of schedule. So they're the ones that go ahead and take that top seed. Hopatcong dropped a set during the course of the season, so they are the 3rd overall seed. Following shortly thereafter, we have Henry Snyder, West Windsor Plainsboro South, Scotch Plains Fanwood, everything going on brand by the playoff score. Northern Valley Old Tapan, Ocean Township is in there, and then we have our first head-to-head skip. So like Chris mentioned, head-to-head does allow you to jump a single spot in the standings. If you beat the people right above you, there's no reason why you shouldn't be ranked above them. We have direct evidence right there of who was better over the course of the season. So Kenneth R. Olson Middle School jumps into the 9th seed with a head-to-head win over Haddon Heights, followed by Rancocas Valley, which gets the strength of schedule tiebreak over Cranford and dumps them down into our favorite thing of the night, which is a triangle. So what is a triangle? That means we have 3 teams that beat each other head to head in a triangle.
Right. A beat B, B beat C,
B beat
C beat
C
A.
beat A. So it's
Yep.
like, who jumps who? How do we figure this out? And so essentially we take those 3 teams and we set them over here off to the side and we reseed again. We just restart the flow chart. How do we get one team to no longer be in this group of 3, whether that's on top or on bottom? We just sort of shake the triangle around until someone pops out and satisfies the triangle. In this particular case, Cranford of the three teams had the higher playoff score by virtue of their 8-8 record, and a playoff score of 25.5. So they are on top of the triangle. Barnegat beat Kiwami in their head-to-head matchup, and so that's how we get those three teams. And rounding out the top 16, we have Park Ridge beating head-to-head over Carl Sandburg and taking the 15 seed with Carl Sandburg the 16.
Beautiful. And so when we shake it out into our bracket, you're going to have Madawan at the 1 seed versus Carl Sandburg. You got Ocean versus Kenneth R. Olson. You got Henry Snyder versus Barnegat. You got West Windsor Plainsboro South versus Cranford. You got Hapatcong versus Kiwami. SPF is going to take on Rancocas Valley. You got Northern Valley Old Tapan playing Haddon Heights. And then you got Madawan taking on Park Ridge. So, the other thing that we always love to do is figure out who we think is going to win, who is a team to watch. And typically when we say a team to watch, it's usually somebody in the top half of the bracket that's not the 1 seed, but could potentially, make a run for the title. And then we also have our dark horse, who is a team from the bottom part of the bracket that you have to watch out for. I haven't done the math lately. I'm pretty sure I'm winning when it comes to what the picks are. It's almost at the point, I don't know if I even need to keep score anymore, but it's always fun to see, right, how we think it's all going to shake out. And so I think in a lot of ways the seeds might hold here. We got Madawan here as the 1 seed.
Did I list Madawan twice on the bracket? Yeah.
Whoops. We'll fix it.
We'll
no
fix
big
it.
deal. Madawan's the 1 and 2 seed, so it could be a Madawan versus Madawan championship. But
yeah, they're just that good.
Right. Madawan High School, I think, I got to see a little bit of Omega Strikers this season. They seem to have it together. But I know you beg to differ, picking, I guess who is known, who has a reputation in the league, Hapatcong, for being the forever champions.
Yes.
They were the, what's the name of the game? That's how
Knockout City.
That's it. That's how quickly we forgot. Knockout. They're the former Knockout City state champs, the forever champs, because that game also sunsetted. But you think that they're going to win?
I do. I know that being the king of the dead games makes Hapatcong hungry. They take a lot of pride in that. I think they're still walking around. I know their coach was talking about getting forever champ shirts made up. I think they're ready to go. I know they did drop a map. I'm not going to read too much into it because in the playoffs it doesn't matter if you win 2-1 or 2-0 as long as you win, and they've got the wins where it counts.
Yeah, awesome. And so my to watch is going to be Henry Snyder, a team that made a little bit of noise throughout the season, new to the league, came in. They got a coach over there who's really running a great program right off the bat. So I would love to see some early success out of Henry Snyder. And then I think the dark horse coming out of that bottom bracket is going to be Cranford. Cranford, same thing, dropped some near matches to a lot of teams that they played, a lot of 1-point wins, 1-point losses. So I think Cranford is a little, is capable of punching a little bit above their seed there. So seeing Cranford at 12 against West Windsor Plainsboro South to start it out. Who are you watching? Yep. Is going to be South.
That seems like fighting words. Your dark horse against my to watch. So we'll know who's winning right away in this season's picks.
Okay.
Because I've got West Windsor Plainsboro South. I think the bracket lines up nicely for them. Between they've got Cranford first round, and then they're looking at Henry Snyder right there, and I think West Windsor Plainsboro South's a little underseeded. And I like the teams that go 2-1 in the regular season because they fought for something.
Right.
And again, it matters for seeding whether or not you drop a set, but it does not matter in the playoffs. Those teams, I think, they turn into trap games for some folks. But my dark horse is Haddon Heights. They made a nice little run at the end there. I think they've got the juice to make some noise against. Again, I think the bracket lines up nicely for them, where they can go out there and win a couple.
There you go. So we will get that second Madawan out of there when we give out the brackets in the Discord. But should be a good one as we watch Omega Strikers ride off into the sunset on us. I'm telling you, I don't know what we're gonna replace it with. I'm really trying to figure out a way to do Fortnite on a grand scale. I think would be amazing. Um, should we tease a little bit the other game that we were thinking about? I think it's just
I
fun.
absolutely think we should tease it.
I think it's fun.
I've gotten huge response
I've
from
been
everyone that I've
shocked with how excited people are for
people's
potentially.
faces light up.
Yes.
And Chris is alluding to a little game on the Nintendo Switch known as Overcooked 2. And we are talking 2v2 online Overcooked. You pick your map, you go at it, you see who can serve more orders without falling into the ice or whatever. My wife and I play that game. We call it divorce game because we can only play for a little bit before just we're screaming at each other. We're not blinking. Our eyes are drying out, watching the recipes come in. And I'm just very excited because when we main stage the final, we'll get to watch friendships end just
100%.
live on stage. These
And
kids, the losing team, these kids will never talk to each other. They'll never see each other in the hallway ever again. Like, it's gonna be a fun time.
well, and I'll tell you, it's funny as I was, I kind of knew of the game, but I didn't even understand the intensity with which the game is played until you were telling me. And it was funny is, because our phones listen to us, I was scrolling through the TikToks as the kids do, and all of a sudden I got all these videos about husbands and wives playing Overcooked and yelling at each other, and there was this one guy yelling at they got a one like a one on their ticket, and then like 2 weeks later, of course, the algorithm brings me back and they got a 3, and he was all excited, and I went to DreamHack in Atlanta, and I got to watch some esports Overcooked too. I mean, that's a cool title to possibly run next winter, maybe even alongside Fortnite and stuff like that. So I think it would just be really fun to do.
It's a
something
great
like
title.
that.
It's a lot of fun. It's open to everyone. Everyone can have a good time with it. And it's all about communication and teamwork. Like, we joke about yelling at each other and hating each other afterwards, but I mean, it's all about honing communication and learning the maps too, like learning where the ingredients and the cookware is and stuff like that. Like, it's good stuff.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. But that's just one of the things that we've been thinking about. And if you are not in the student Discord, reach out to your club advisor. We're happy to have student voice in the picking process, but we're trying to figure out Fortnite, duos, trios, builds, no builds, because we can't do it all. The fact that students just change their name randomly throughout the season, which breaks all the software that keeps the scores. So we got to figure it out, but would love to maybe do Fortnite, very seriously considering Overcooked 2. I know for us old folks that grew up watching StarCraft, we are considering Stormgate, which we will play in some form or another. But we got some cool opportunities, I think. So I'm hoping, to pick a title that doesn't get canceled as soon as we play it, because I think it's now, I think it's now 3 years in a row.
Yeah, we don't want to put the GSE curse on anybody.
Right, it's 3 years in a row now where we've had games canceled on us. But Mike, let's talk about Street Fighter 6. When we talk about new games, I think that are going to be sticking around for a while. I will tell you, I originally boycotted Street Fighter 6 as somebody who grew up playing Vega. And I guess in the position that Garden State Esports is in, I've had a couple meetings with Capcom, and I immediately expressed my disappointment that Vega was not in Street Fighter 6. They assured me that problem would be solved eventually. But, Street Fighter 6, man, what a cool game. That was fun to watch, and what an incredible season. New to everybody, but very popular.
Oh, yeah.
So, walk us through. What are the Street Fighter 6 seeds looking like?
So nobody went perfect, which I love. I love parity. I love chaos. So nobody went perfect. We do have 4 conferences. So our 4 conference champs lead it off. Hoboken edges Scotch Plains Fanwood for that top overall seed based on their strength of schedule. Phillipsburg comes in 17-1 in sets, and Absagami pulls out the head-to-head win over Ocean Township and wins the conference that way. So they win it free and clear, even though they did drop a whole match, but they won the one that mattered.
Gotcha.
Following us up, we have McNair. Then Ocean Township comes in at the 6. Plainfield, High Tech round out the top 8. High Tech, they just like playing fighting games over there. It doesn't matter which one it is; they're just gonna play it and they're gonna beat you. I didn't even think Luigi was in Street Fighter. Is he in Street Fighter? Because it seems like.
No, not to my knowledge.
Is there a green Street Fighter character?
Blanca.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. That's
Yeah.
probably what he plays. Anyway, JFK comes in at 9. Then Bloomfield. Bloomfield. This is where it gets a little spicy for Street Fighter. So, Bloomfield has the strength of schedule over Woodbury City, which is actually 2 spots below them, and that's because Bloomfield knocked Woodbury City back into the scrum. Kind of like when you're playing Mario Kart and you're ahead and you take that one red shell and then all of a sudden you get hit with every single item. That's what happened with Woodbury City, because they then fell into a head-to-head situation with Camden, who beat them during the regular season and jumped over them. But their Woodbury's then followed up by Old Bridge, Waldwick, Pleasantville that had the head-to-head over Matawan for the final seed there.
Beautiful. And so when we put it onto the bracket, here's what we got. We got Hoboken versus Matawan. We got High Tech versus JFK. We got Gammy versus Old Bridge. McNair versus Woodbury City. We got Peaburg versus Waldwick. We got Ocean Township versus Camden Academy. We got Plainfield versus Bloomfield. And then we got SPF versus Pleasantville. And again, similar to Omega Strikers, the playoffs start next week. On 2-7 and 2-14 are going to be remote, and then if you make it to the semis, we will see you live at Brookdale. So, and again, that's going to be February 24th. I'll drop tickets and registration and stuff in the chat when I get a second, or if one of my mods want to go ahead and do that, that'd be fantastic. But what are we thinking, right? SPF. I like me some SPF. They can play, man. They're gamers no matter what they play. Former Overwatch state champs, history of winning. Coach Ray over there runs a fantastic program, and I got a little story about SPF I'm going to share a little bit later, but just a program I've always admired. Think they're going to get done in Street Fighter 6. Played really well. But you're going with the Berg, man.
I'm going with Peaburg. West Jersey pride. Mm-hmm. Grew up in Sussex County, which is West Jersey, which is the real division between Jersey. Look it up. Goes back to colonial times.
Okay.
But no, I'm going with Phillipsburg. They only dropped a single set the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
They had a shorter schedule, which is where playoff score comes in handy.
Right.
Still ranking them up high, but they only dropped a single set. Which I think is important in a entire league that no one went perfect. So this is as close as you could get. But I'm also watching McNair, which I believe was in that conference.
Right.
And is therefore, by virtue of not winning that conference, a little underseeded. And similar to SPF, I feel like McNair is building this reputation of being just a solid overall program, competing in whatever they put their hands to. We'll talk about them a little bit when we get to Overwatch. And my dark horse is Old Bridge. I know Coach Weiss down there knows a lot about Street Fighter. He's really into it. And I think that he can, he was talking in the chat that the match between them and Gammy, who wound up winning their conference, came down to a single hit. So maybe the breaks go their way and they go on a little run here.
Yeah, and that's why my two watch, getting to hear a little bit about, see a little bit of Gammy versus Old Bridge. I mean, you're talking about two very good teams, literally came down to one hit. So, it all depends who's going to get the hit this time.
Also, I got news for you.
Yeah.
Rematch, round 1.
There you go. Gammy, Old Bridge, tournament director,
decider.
Mike Johnson versus Presidente Chris Aviles. We might have to watch that together so we can yell at each other and see. But I'm putting my money on Gammy. Little South Jersey represent. And then to round it out, Dark Horse, Woodbury City, another team. Coach DeMarco over there. If you guys don't know Coach DeMarco, boy, does he love himself some Street Fighter. Grew up putting a quarter on the machine to let folks know when it was his turn to play. And when we added Street Fighter, he was a coach that we leaned on because he has such a long history, with Street Fighter. So he helped us draft the rules and explain the competitive side of it a little bit better to somebody like me who, I just hit Vega and I just punched people with the claw, and my sister would play Blanca because that was my Puerto Rican grandmother's name, and she just thought it was funny to play the character named after my grandmother.
Oh, 100%.
That's it. And so Grandma didn't think it was funny, but she would say I'm not a green monster. But we had fun. So yeah, that'll be your Street Fighter 6 bracket. We will post those again in the Discord on the social medias. But let's talk about, what we're all here for. And that is some beautiful, beautiful Overwatch.
Oh, yes.
And Overwatch, we're going to start talking about Valkyrie. And why don't you walk us through Valkyrie? And what is Valkyrie and why it's amazing?
100%. So Valkyrie is our additional championship level season, state championship eligible, that we offer for girls, marginalized genders, non-binary persons, as a way for them to compete in an inclusive space, because anyone that plays a video game on the internet knows that it is horrible for those people to play online. We've heard it from our students, we've heard it from our players, we've heard it online endlessly, and so we offer this space to give the opportunity for these players to compete and grow and build the same exact skills and relationships that everybody else does in our league. We do have players that compete both in Valkyrie League and the co-ed championship seasons, which is on purpose because we don't want to exclude those top players from their co-ed teams. That's not right. That's the opposite of what we're trying to do.
Right.
And we do offer, this slide is incorrect, me. We do offer 4 Valkyrie leagues per year.
Well, we haven't announced that, have we?
Well, I'm announcing it now. We're doing it live.
First big drop of the
first big drop of the night.
Get him, Mike.
So in the fall, we offered Super Smash Bros. Cruise at the Valkyrie competition. This season was Overwatch 2. In the spring, we will be offering Valorant as expected. Valorant was our inaugural Valkyrie season to great success. And due to popular demand, we will be adding this spring 2v2 Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Valkyrie.
There you go.
Grab a buddy, hop in, play some twos, and let's make some noise.
If I listen closely, I'm pretty sure I hear Kayla the Packinator and Barnegat just flipped her computer desk.
Yes.
We are running
we just lost a viewer.
We are running another Valkyrie Smash season because, the fall was so successful. And, you talk about Kayla really blazing a path, and you kind of look at, there's a player who was in the state finals on her varsity co-ed team for Smash, lost, came back as part of a Valkyrie team, won a state championship, and was the first player that played both Valkyrie and on the co-ed team to be named as an all-star for both. The exciting news is we have another player for Valkyrie that has followed in her footsteps and really stood out, and we'll talk about that player in a little bit. But yeah, so we're not only going to have Valkyrie Valorant this season, spring season, we are also going to have Valkyrie 2v2 Smash. So it's a beautiful thing. But for our Valkyrie League, our Overwatch team, we had 4 brave teams battle it out and walk us through what the seeds look like.
Yeah, so we had a 7-team season this year for Overwatch 2. The top 4 make the playoffs. We had the absolutely perfect WPSD Comets hybrid team, 6-0, 12-0 for perfect 42 playoff score. Mercer County Tech comes in second at 5-1. Barnegat at 4-2, and the lovable West Essex coming in at 4, making the semifinals.
All right. And so when we break out our 4-team bracket, we got the Comets playing West Essex, and we got Mercer Tech playing Barnegat. And they'll play their semis on 2/7. They'll play them virtually, and then the winners will be playing live at Brookdale for a state title. So, here's how it's looking. Mike, I kind of figured you would do, the normal thing and take the number 1 seed. So I'm going to go ahead and take Mercer Tech to win it all. Just because I want to go ahead and continue being the best at picks. So I'm going to go ahead and take Mercer Tech to pull the upset on the Comets. I know talking to Coach over there, it was close. They felt it was a competitive match. And then my to-watch team, looks like I got me a little West Essex. I will be the champion that West Essex deserves, sir. West Essex, if you're in the chat, know that I stand with you. Unlike Mike, who picked Barn.
I picked WPSD. Perfection is important to me. On the receiving end of their skill, they're an impressive team. They come in. I know their team captain does a lot with them, talking to their coach. Their team captain, Shay, does a lot with them to work on specific strategies for the specific heroes that they are good at and figuring out how to make all of that work together. And it's just an impressive group to be able to do what WPSD does, with some people playing on one campus and some on another, and they're still able to bond and function as a coordinated team. It's very cool to see.
Absolutely.
But my to watch is Barnegat, because they are the 4th team left of the 4 in the semifinals. But no, Barnegat also very well coordinated team. They get
Sellers.
deep into the
what a winner.
They get deep into the theory crafting. And that 2-3 matchup between Mercer and Barnegat was the only match in the entire league this year that was not a 2-0. Barnegat took a map off Mercer. I think this time they got the shot to take 2, but we'll see how it goes.
There you go.
Well, 3 technically, because Overwatch is best of 5 in the playoffs.
This is true. But there you go. Comets will play West Essex. Mercer County's going to play Barnegat. Should be fantastic. Should be a lot of fun, when we will definitely be live streaming both matches. So, and now we have the other huge announcement. And
big news, Jazz Hands.
Yeah, hold on. I'm even gonna.
You got music?
No, I don't have music, but we're gonna hit them with the quick transition so they can really absorb this Overwatch news. So, here is your huge announcement, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine Brookdale. You got Pro Troy casting. You got Celtic on the mic. You got all these amazing things happening, and man, you wish you were there. You wish you could have got there. And I mean, how many teams were in Overwatch?
There were 66 teams in the Overwatch season this year.
So, I mean, it's incredible to imagine, being part of the event, and 66 teams. I mean, Mike, what did we do?
What we did is we decided we're not just going to crown 1 state champ, nor are we going to do what we did in the fall, which was crown 2 state champions.
Not even 2.
We are going to crown 4 state championships for our Overwatch season. 66 teams is our largest season ever. We have enough teams to create satisfying and equitable brackets based on your school size. So if you're familiar with traditional sports, soccer, football, and you hear about the Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, Group 4 championships, we're big enough. We're doing it. And so we are dividing our Overwatch season into 4 complete group stage brackets, and the finals of which, all of them, will be at Brookdale. Everyone that wins one of those matches gets a belt. They get medals. They get to call themselves state champions. It is going to be a whirlwind festival of Overwatch,
There you go.
which is really the best kind of esports event.
It is. I mean, and you know, so with a little bit more context, you know, those of you playing in GSE and in the chat and stuff like that, if you didn't know, you're part of the largest Scholastic Esports League in the country. Garden State Esports has 200, and as of this morning, with Wallkill Valley joining, we have 297 schools in the league. You know, I think in total, Mike, how many teams, unique teams, played this season? Was it 180 something?
Give me 1 second to
Yeah.
surreptitiously pull up that Google spreadsheet.
But we have a ton of schools, and so we have always on the competition committee painted a pathway for our own growth. So we started with one state champ, everybody playing against each other. Starting last spring, we started to crown 2 state champs with groups 1 and 2 playing against each other, then groups 3 and 4 playing against each other. But we always knew, and we're excited that this day would come, is that the league is big enough where we will start taking certain titles that meet our criteria, like you said, to have meaningful playoffs. You know, we're going to be able to offer group 1, 2, 3, and 4 state champions. And, you know, again, we're still working toward, but eventually are going to have, you know, a tournament of champions where we crown, you know, a unified champion of the group schools and stuff like that. But following in traditional sports footsteps in New Jersey, Overwatch at Brookdale will be 4 state champs. And so now we have the brackets that we can share with you where...
To answer your question, by the way,
yes, please.
we had 106 unique schools compete in this winter season. That's across all of our titles. We had 133 varsity level teams and 96 contenders teams across all titles. So we roughly double in size every 6 months. I fully expect that that the spring is going to be even bigger.
Absolutely. So
yeah, we're cloning ProTroid
yes,
because
poor ProTroid
when we get to this. When we get to the schedule, you will not only have to cast all of them, you will have to cast 2 at the same time.
Yes, it's going to be incredible. But so here we go, folks. Overwatch playoff split as we announced. So we have the slides in there for people.
Yeah,
I
do want to cover that real quick.
Yeah,
because there are some questions there about, okay, so you have these 4 brackets. How do you determine who goes where and which one? So what we do is we rank every single team in the league from 1 to 66. And then we use the super awesome filter feature in Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel to then just pull out group 1. We just yank them out like pulling apart cotton, and we make a bracket. And then we go back and we grab group 2 and we make a bracket, top 8 teams. Group 3, top 8 teams. So you have your overall league ranking, but when we make your bracket, only seed you against the other schools in your group.
Right. So, and what I like most about all of this is we're not doing this just to do it. It is a meaningful bracket that is full of talent that deserve to be in the playoffs. And in a way, too, maybe more importantly, is it is giving schools of all different sizes a fair shake. Right, some schools, Division I schools, are in there with Division IV schools, and to be able to break this out gives more opportunities to deserving teams to compete. So it's hoping, you know, it's something that we hope to do, you know, more and more. You know, I'd be shocked if we're not doing this for all of the spring, which I know that we're already planning that spring is going to be so big that we have to do multiple group, if not all 4 group state champs for the spring, but. You know, it's a big deal to see the league grow and to be able to offer something like this. And, you know, I'm always excited when my hardware budget has to grow. So luckily I always put a little bit aside, you know, for stuff like this. And we didn't know this would happen in September, but, you know, to your credit, Mike, and the rest of the competition team, this has always been a plan. We always had this plan, so it's really cool. But let's talk about Group 1.
Let's do it.
So,
Group
our
one.
Group 1 schools now competing in their own playoff and in their own bracket. Go ahead and walk us through the seeding.
Yep, here we go. So Group 1, no conference champs in this group. Also, part of the point, a lot of times larger schools with larger player options wind up winning more because they have more of an opportunity to find those players. But anyway, this is actually shaping up to be a really exciting bracket. I'm excited to see what happens here. Our top Group 1 seed is Coach Marcus down at Cape May Tech. They went 5-2, 11-5. They have the exact same record and playoff score as Woodbury City,
Yep.
but they get the top seed by, let me do quick, 0.09 in strength of schedule. It was that close. It was, I think it was a single dropped map somewhere in the conference, not even who they, in one of their matches. So that's what it came down to. Very close for the top two. We have Cedar Grove and Immaculata. Immaculata, brand new program, coming in strong with the 4 seed in Group 1. David Brearley, Waldwick. We have Mercer County Tech, very active in the chat, coming in at the number 7 seed in Group 1. And we have West Caldwell Tech rounding out the top 8 for our
There you
Group 1
go.
schools.
So, an 8 seed bracket means that round 1 and the semis will be played remotely, and the finals for Group 1 will be live. We got Cape May playing West Caldwell. We got Immaculata versus David Brearley. We got Cedar Creek versus Waldwick, and we got Woodbury City versus Mercer County. Mike, talk me through. You think Cape May is going to take it?
I think Cape May is going to take it. It's a strong program. They've been right there for a long time. And I think the Group 1 breakout for them is really going to help them out and cut through some of the noise, and really just make a run at a belt. I also want to watch Cedar Grove. Cedar Grove was in my conference, and they are a very plucky Group 1 team. They were up against some larger schools as well, which depressed their record a little bit.
Right.
But I think that coming in at the 3 seed is going to be a very exciting position for them.
There you go. And I think, Woodbury's going to take it, not just because I want to make sure that I, get that match up against you, but Woodbury, again, Coach DeMarco's running an incredible program over there. I got to see more Overwatch than anything this season. Woodbury looks good, man. They look tough. And, I know Cape May, very good as well. I got to see them play as well. And I think Woodbury's on that level, so I think could go any other way. And to watch, not just because they're all in the chat. This was written before they all got here. I know Mercer Tech representing in the chat. I'm taking my Mercer Tech team to watch, and here's why is, beyond being a great program, shout out to, you got Nikos, the great caster. You got a lot of just awesome things going on at Mercer Tech. Mercer Tech is the perfect example of why having multiple group state championships is so important. Mercer Tech up there, Mercer County by Trenton, I think. They are in a conference with all Group 4 schools. And they held their own. And, the record, same thing you had said, the record is a little bit depressed, at 2-4. But they fought, man. And again, when you're playing, you'll see the Group 4 schools and how good some of those Group 4 schools, and those Group 4 schools are pulling from a pool of thousands.
Sometimes 2,500 kids versus a Group 1 school maxes out at about 600.
Right. And so Mercer Tech, you're in the chat. Somebody from Mercer Tech, tell me, how many kids are in the Mercer Tech school? So, but you think about, while I wait for them to answer. But you think about having a Group 1 school with, a couple hundred kids in their school versus, schools that got 2,000, 2,500 kids. It's just a different pool of talent. There's 25 in the graduating senior class of Mercer Tech.
Yeah.
So that's, that's the average class size of like some of these Group 4 schools is like 33. So they got more kids in a class
Right.
in one literal class.
You have more kids in your algebra class
Right, yeah.
than you do in the entire
Than Mercer
graduating
Tech
class
has
of
in their
Mercer
whole
Tech, yeah.
program. So, you know, I would love to see Mercer Tech make some noise. I think that, you know, it's one of those iron sharpens iron. They played really good Group 4 schools all season. You know, got their butt kicks sometimes, but were able to fight and stay, you know, right there with those teams. And so, especially when when we get to the Group 4 schools and we show just how good some of those Group 4 schools, for Mercer Tech to stay competitive, I think is really cool. So, Group 1's always exciting too. Because I think when you're drawing from that size of a talent pool, everything matters. You know what I mean? Maybe you have a bunch of silvers on the team or whatever the case may be, but it's one of those things where, like, you know, even just showing up and never missing a practice when you're a Group 1 school, and you know, I currently teach and have taught at Group 1 and 2 schools. Like, you know, kids are doing 3 sports. They do everything when you're a Group 1 school. So. Excited to see, you know, just Group 1 get some love finally. I don't have we ever had a Group 1 state champ yet?
Hopatcong Forever Champs of Knockout City.
Hopatcong Forever Champs. I think that might be it though, right?
I believe it might be.
So, you know, the opportunity to double our Group 1 state champions, I think, is really cool. So let's talk about Group 2, Overwatch 2.
Group 2, we had 2 perfect teams, McNair Academic and Pleasantville. McNair Academic gets the bad slide by me. Pleasantville was not perfect. They went 14-2, but they still won their conference and they're still the 2nd seed. But that's why McNair is the top seed. Cedar Creek comes in as the 3 seed. South Plainfield is the 4. Haddon Heights and West Milford come in tied on playoff score. Haddon Heights, long story, but they actually beat the first place team in their conference. And so if you look back at the flow chart from the earlier slides, best wins is what that falls under. Their best win was actually the first place team in their conference. West Milford's best win was against the 4th place team in their conference. So that's how Haddon Heights gets the tiebreak. Middle Township and Oak Crest High School rounds out our Group 2 Overwatch playoff.
Boom. Throw them up on the brackets. Same thing. 1 and 2 will be played remotely. The finalists for Group 2 will play at Brookdale, and that's going to be, you got McNair versus Oak Crest, you got South Plains versus Haddon Heights, you got Cedar Creek versus West Milford, and you got Pleasantville versus Middle Township. And so walk me through, you know, you think McNair is going to hold it down?
I do. I think McNair's going to hold it down, and here's why. McNair Academic went to the semifinals last year when we had a unified Overwatch bracket.
Yeah.
If you guys recall, we did a giant 32-team bracket because we were insane people. And McNair made it all the way to the semifinals of that and put up quite the fight against Scotch Plains Fanwood, a team of Grandmaster and Masters ranked players that wound up reverse sweeping for the state championship later that day. It seems like nobody graduated from McNair Academic's team because they went perfect. They didn't drop a single map. The only maps they lost last season were to us at West Essex and Scotch Plains in the semifinal. So right. They're a powerhouse, and I think they're going to come out. They're going to come out swinging, and I think they're going to go all the way.
There you go. And so I'll counter pick there. Pleasantville, another good season. Heard a lot about Pleasantville. Pleasantville, Cape May had a great series. Just, you know, another team that just has a lot of talent for being a smaller school. I think they're going to be able to hang with McNair. You know, and you and I were talking even before we were getting ready for the show. Just the talent level and what even the finals. You know, if you're not coming to Brookdale, you're out of your mind because these finals are going to be unbelievable. Pleasantville versus McNair, if that's what it looks like, is going to be an awesome match. So excited about that. South Plainfield is another team I got to watch a little bit this season. Pretty decent, solid support. Played well, played as a team. So I was impressed by what I got to see from them. So I'm going to give them my to-watch nod because I think, you know, they can make a run. And you look through, you know, playing at Haddon Heights, a 4 or 5 seed there. it's a coin flip, and next thing you know, they're going against the 1 seed, and let's see if they can upset McNair on their Cinderella story to Brookdale. So I'm going to go Pleasantville, South Plainfield, and we're on to Group 3. This is where it starts to get, the level of competition between the group sizes starts to, you see a difference, man. Group 3, Group 4, top to bottom, because everybody's drawing from such a big pool of talent, man, Group 3 and 4 is solid. I would be shocked if there's not more kids picked up to play Overwatch at the college level, because I'll give you a fun stat is everybody who has played at the collegiate level on scholarship for us has made it to a playoffs or semifinals. A state finals or a semifinals in the GSE playoffs. And so, I think the level of talent for these Group 3 schools, we do have scouts coming. You know who we added, Mike? Syracuse University will be there scouting. Coach Joey, he went from Shenandoah. He's over at Syracuse. He jumped on the phone. He asked if he could come. And you know who else is joining the Collegiate League here? Just got off the phone this morning with Georgian Court. Georgian Court has an esports team. They're launching in the fall, and they're going to be coming to Brookdale to do some scouting because they want to get some of the kids. They want to
build the program,
right? And one of the things I was sharing with Brookdale, I was sharing with Georgian Court, is if you look at the teams at the college level that are really impressive in New Jersey, you're talking about Camden County Community, Brookdale, Stockton, Seton Hall, Jersey City University. And what's cool is traditionally, when you think sports and you may not think of those schools, but Brookdale, being Valorant national champions, Cedar Creek right now, Camden County Community College is up now for a national award from the Gamehers for collegiate program of the year. There's a lot of opportunity when it comes to esports for the college scene to continue to make a name for themselves. And so, Georgian Court is really excited. They want to grab a bunch of kids, and they want to get on the map, not just in New Jersey, but nationally as a school that wants to support esports. So I think in all, we're up to 12 or 13 colleges should be there at Brookdale, many of whom, Shenandoah is coming back up from, what is that, Virginia, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're coming back up to pick up some kids. We got a lot of kids, even casters coming to look for casters. Shenandoah's looking for casters in production. So just a lot of cool opportunities in New Jersey and beyond. And so the talent you see here in Group 3, there's some of the ones that are going to get picked. Now, Mike, I do want to point out, though, I know that you are the competition director.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't quite know how you were 97-0, though.
Well, let me explain. I have apparently a weak left shift finger. So if you refresh the slide, it's fixed. Listen. Scores had to be in at 5. I ate dinner for about 10 minutes and then had to seed this whole league.
Right. Well, look, listen. Obviously, nobody would ever say the league is fixed or anything like that, but I am going to have to question your 97-0 score.
Well, hey, I mean, it's not that fixed if we went 97-0 and we still only got the second seed.
All right, so West Essex is actually not 97-0, but why don't you walk us through the Group 3, how the playoffs shook out?
Let's get the slideshow back up on the stream.
Oh, right, because I have to share it on my computer, but I also have to share it in the. There we go, Google Meet, guys. Listen, this is why production is a degree.
Oh, that's.
You know.
So we've got Barnegat and West Essex, and Timber Creek as our 3 conference champions out of Group 3. Barnegat beats West Essex for the top seed by 0.025.
Wow.
In strength of schedule. Again, like a map somewhere. But numbers don't lie. So Barnegat gets the top seed. West Essex is 2. Timber Creek, out of nowhere, going into today's matches, Timber Creek was the 8 seed in Group 3. But they beat Cherry Hill West in today's match and jumped all the way up to 3 just by winning their conference. So that's what it's all about.
Right, because conference champs automatically get the
Conference
top
champs
seeds.
automatically get the top seeds. They get seeded themselves, and then we fill in from there. Then we have Wayne Valley, Matawan, Ocean Township, the aforementioned Cherry Hill West, and Northern Valley Demarest rounding out the top 8.
There you go. And even just to echo something you said, 0.025 between Barnegat and West Essex. Every match counts. Every forfeit, every map, every hit. I've coached traditional sports forever, and a lot of times seeding in the seeding meetings comes down to who beat who by how many points and who beat who, and it's the same here in esports. 0.025 could literally, like you said, have been one map in a match where, it was so close. And so, as you guys are gearing up for a massive spring season, every single thing counts, right? 0.025 between the 1 and the 2 seed. But when we throw that up on the bracket, we're going to have Barnegat versus Demarest. We got Wayne Valley versus Matawan. We got Timber Creek versus Ocean Township. We got West Essex versus Cherry Hill West for your Group 3. And same thing here, round 102 will be remote. Finals will be at Brookdale. What are your picks? What do you got, Mike?
I'm going West Essex. I think we got it this year. This team has really come together. We graduated one player, we lost another, and I've got 2 freshmen that stepped in and have just grown over the course of the season into their roles, into the team. This team is clicking, they're firing. I said to somebody else earlier that they've ascended to a higher plane of existence, and I think we're on our way as the season changes into playoffs. But I am extremely happy that Barnegat is on the other side of the bracket, because they're my to watch. Extremely well coached. They had multiple players in the players versus coaches match that bullied me into almost uninstalling the game. And I'm very happy that they're over there. And when West Essex makes our run, I don't have to worry about them until Brookdale.
There you go.
Very well coached. Coach Sellers over there runs an amazing program that if you want to learn how to coach Overwatch, just ask questions and absorb, because they're in it every single year. They've been perennial contenders, and I'm excited to see what they can do with this split out bracket.
Yeah.
But I got to go with my guys. I can't not go with them in this particular instance.
Listen,
and
you
you had a
guys
hard time not going with us either.
This is true. You can see that I was really trying to find a way to root for West Essex, but I mean, where's the fun in that? But I'm gonna go, with Barnegat. I think obviously you guys are pretty evenly matched. But I think what it comes down to, Coach Sellers' son is on the team, Nick, and I know that when they get home, Coach Sellers makes Nick play more, and makes the team, play more. And so it's almost like the opposite, where like you can't play games until your homework is done. I know in the Sellers household, they're not allowed to play, they're not allowed to do their homework until they've played Overwatch. So you're talking about a team, just, well coached, well played. I'm really excited, if it shakes out like I think, to watch you and Coach Sellers both pace around and pull your hair out during the match. I may just have our camera crew follow the coaches, because the level of anxiety and intensity between you and Coach Sellers, I think, is going to be fantastic.
I do occasionally get yelled at by my Apple Watch, where it says, you're not
Chill.
moving, but your heart rate is 120.
Listen, I may or may
And I'm like,
not
you don't
have-
understand. They need to hit this May wall.
Listen, I may or may not have gotten you and Coach Sellers life alert necklaces, So if and when it gets too intense and you guys pass out, that it'll automatically call the paramedics
Perfect.
for us.
Help! I've fallen and I
Yeah,
can't
I'm
get up.
trying. I'm trying to avoid any insurance claims for either of you two having a stroke or something like that over the finals. But I think the other team I'm excited about, and you called it out, was Timber Creek. Timber Creek was an 8th seed. They took out Cherry Hill, won the conference. That propelled them to the 3 seed. When I think about my 2 watches, when I think about my dark horses, I love a good Cinderella story. So as good as West Essex and Barnegat is, to watch Timber Creek make a run and upset, what are I think the 2 clear favorites in the league. I mean, I love an underdog. You know what I mean? So I think Timber Creek, maybe the Cinderella story continues. Go from 8th seed today to beating Cherry Hill, to winning the conference, to getting the 3 seed. I mean, look, nothing but respect, obviously, to the Timber Creek crowd, but you look at the records here. Their playoff scores are 39. You got 48s, 46s, 40s below them, and you got 56s above them. They got a hard road, man. But I love when somebody makes a run that they shouldn't. So I'm hoping to see that out of Timber Creek. That'd be really cool. But and now we got the big boys and girls.
Big dogs.
We got the big ones. We got the Group 4s. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, because there's potentially thousands of people watching. We got in Group 4 schools, I think you got something like 25,000 kids represented in these schools. Something wild. But walk us through your Group 4 playoff brackets.
You got it. So we've got Edison taking home the top seed, and that is by virtue of their strength of schedule once again. Passaic County Tech coming in second. Scotch Plains. All 3 of these teams, perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't drop a single map throughout the course of the season. Won their conference going away, and so those are Leviathans at the top of this bracket. But they are followed.
Filthy.
They are followed by
Filthy.
Memorial, Bloomfield, Plainfield, Bayonne, and Old Bridge rounding out the top 8. Old Bridge making a run here and knocking off some of the teams that were ahead of them and just climbed that ladder. So like you were saying with Timber Creek, Old Bridge entered the day not in the playoffs, but every match counts, every map counts, and they won when they had to, and they're in the dance.
There you go.
By the way, the tie break between Memorial and Bloomfield, again, strength of schedule. When you have second place teams that, the only maps they lost were to the first place team and they crushed everybody below them, it's hard to get any differentiation besides, which conference was a little bit better for them to do that to. And that's a 0.07 difference in strength of schedule.
0.07.
One thing I tell people all the time about GSC, and part of this is how big it is, but part of it is just the talent and the coaching that we have in our league. You think you're good at the game, and then you play another school in GSC, and you're just immediately humbled. So it's very deep everywhere in this league, that we see these strength of schedules be so close that every conference everywhere is competitive.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why we have such high college involvement, is when I talk to these college coaches and I say, okay, why don't you pick these kids, or what are you looking for? One of the things they always go back to is really 2 things that GSE does well. Is number one, our club advisors, our coaches and their teams, the fact that they practice on a regular basis is not the norm. And so a lot of these college coaches are thrilled to not have to teach kids how to show up at a practice, right? And then the other side is, like I said, is all of our kids who have ever been taken and put on scholarship have played in a live finals, whether it was semis or the state finals. And the fact that they don't crack under pressure, and they've played in front of we're going to have 1,500 people at Brookdale, throughout the day. So to be able to play in front of a big crowd, I think really matters too. And so when you get into this level of talent, there's there's some really cool stuff that can happen. And, and to your point, I always love to tell the story because obviously GSE on top, as the kids say. We know even when you think about Smash, Union City, High Tech High, two just always perennial powerhouses, Luigi Kid. They entered the EGF National Tournament, right? The Electronic Gaming Federation, which is a company that's run out of New York, and it's a for-profit, and they do eastern regions and southern regions, and they're actually the organization. They're partially owned by Disney, and they do D1 college events for ESPN, right? So, I mean, it's a league that's got hundreds and hundreds of teams. Would you believe that the 1 and 2 national championship teams for Smash was High Tech in Union City?
I would believe that.
I mean, it's the best. It's the best picture I ever got was High Tech in Union City in front of the EGF logo with their GSE gear on, 1 and 2 in the nation. So just the level of talent that we have is unbelievable. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, your kid got picked up by New Haven. I would be stunned that some of the kids in these leagues and this team in Group 4 aren't going to get picked up and get to play at that next level because, the talent is that good, man, especially when you talk about playoffs. Playoffs is just on another level. And so you put these out there on the bracket. You got Edison versus Old Bridge. You got Memorial versus Bloomfield. You got SPF playing Plainfield. You got Passaic County Tech versus Bayonne. Thrilled to see Bayonne, new to the league, making the playoffs. But listen, I got to see Edison, man. Yikes. Okay? Yikes. Edison is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough to beat him, man. I know SPF is good too, and I went back and forth, and ultimately I saw that you picked SPF, so I, just went against you so we can fight. It's going to be hard to beat Edison, man. They're just solid top to bottom. Backups, DPS, tanks, supports, man. They were solid, but talk to me about SPF.
So Scotch Plains Fanwood, defending champs of a unified bracket. They beat literally everyone. I know Edison wasn't here last year, but they reverse sweep in the final. They've got the poise. Talking to Coach Ray down there before last season, because I know he had a strong team the year before, and he's saying, man, I've got these 2 Grandmaster tanks back when Overwatch was 6v6, and neither of them graduated. I don't know what it's like the meme where you can't hold. He's like, what do I do with all these GMs? And they reverse sweep. They're holding up the belt, and after the celebration, I asked him like, oh, graduating anybody or anything? I was like, nah, they're all sophomores. So this team has been there. They have been there multiple times. They know what the stage is like. They know they've got the poise under pressure, down 2-0 in a final in front of that crowd, in front of that noise, to just bear down and win 3 straight maps in pretty dominant fashion. Like the 3 maps they won after that were not close. Yeah. I think they've got it. I mean, I'm watching Edison. Obviously, you go 7-0 in this league. You got to be pretty good. But I think I have to lean on the experience and just the poise of SPF to just continually play at such a high level.
Yeah, and we've seen it before. Scotch Plains has been there before. And so it's hard to beat experience, especially, like I shared, the college coaches putting live crowd experience so high on their list. Not cracking, because it's different playing in front of, playing at your school, or even if you're a school that invites people to come watch, you got like a little crowd at your school. We were at Kane last year for Overwatch, man. We had people's Apple Watches going off that they had to leave because the decibel volume was too loud. So it gets loud, it gets intense, and, much like other sports, I think the team that makes the least amount of mistakes is going to be the one that wins and plays the best together. But I think a team to watch is Bloomfield. I think Bloomfield has kind of been a silent threat throughout the season. Nobody got easy wins over them. They were able to stay competitive with everybody that they played, and you know, I always love to try to find a team that people they might get snuck up on. So I think Bloomfield maybe gets caught in a trap match, or catches somebody, I should say, in a trap match.
Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened. So, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. There's your Overwatch Group 1, 2, 3, and 4 brackets. We will share these out when we're done and we fix a couple things. We'll get it out to you. But now we got All-Stars.
And we got the fun stuff.
Fun stuff.
So here in GSE, when for players that don't know, because this is a club advisor specific activity, but when your coaches and club advisors report the scores for your match, they are also asked to select a player of the game, both from their team and from the opposing team. We keep track of all that. We count all that. And at the end of the season, that is how we determine the players that are our all-stars. They're recognized by their coaches, and importantly, the opposing team coach as the standout players for their team and in that match. The coaches have carte blanche to pick whoever they want for whatever reasons they want. But if you are consistently selected and reach the top of this list, that means you're doing something special for your team, and we want to honor you. When it comes down to, because everybody wants to know tie breaks and stats, we break the tie based on opposing coach votes, because it's one thing to be picked by your coach who knows you, knows the work that you're putting in. It's quite another to make an impression within the half hour to hour and a half that you play in front of this opposing coach for them to pick your name out of a list as the standout player. So we always lean towards those opposing coach votes when we have to.
There we go.
But let's start it off with, I think up first is Omega Strikers, right?
If memory serves, we got ourselves some
I usually go in week order.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, first team out of Cranford is going to be Patrick. Madawan's coming out with Philip. We got Ogano from Burnett, and we got Tim Bergall from Kiwami. Second team, Omega Strikers All-Stars are going to be Will, Kyle, and Michael out of Rancocas Valley, Barnegat, and Park Ridge. And then the alternate there is going to be Nick Hill from SPF. So congratulations to those players. And don't forget, we will be honoring and acknowledging our All-Star team members. Do you know what time it was, Mike? Was it 1 o'clock?
That will be at 1 p.m. at
1
Brookdale.
PM. Fantastic. Come on out. We got a certificate for you. We got a pin for you. And congratulations on being first and second team All-Stars for Omega Strikers. And then next should be Street Fighter 6. Go ahead and walk us through Street Fighter, Mike.
Sure. Street Fighter, we have Serena from Scotch Plains Fanwood. We've got the fighting game extraordinaire, Lucas Velasquez from High Tech. We have Javier from Ocean Township, and the alternate for the first team is Randall from Old Bridge. Second team, we have Kai from Gammy, Michael from Abraham Clark, Joseph from JFK, and the alternate for that second team is Thomas from Cedar Grove.
There we go. So we see a couple cool things. Here's number one, we got Lucas Velasquez, Luigi kid, probably considered to be the best Smash player in the state. At definitely at the high school level, arguably statewide. I want to see what you were saying. Who does he main? I didn't get a chance to see much Street Fighter.
I didn't look at the roster or anything. Yeah.
I don't know if he's hanging out in the chat for this stuff. So, Luigi, if you're here, who are you playing in Street Fighter 6? I'm curious. But
and are they green?
Yeah. The other shout out and acknowledgement I want to give is to Serena T at SPF. Number one, spoiler alert, Serena is also on her Valkyrie Team All-Star. And I got to talk to Coach Ray a little bit because we like to shout out, anytime we break barriers, whether it's Valkyrie or anybody else, we always like to acknowledge when something really cool has happened. And so I was talking to Coach Ray about Serena and the fact that she's not just a varsity, captain, all-star starter for her Street Fighter 6 co-ed team, right? But also plays, other roles, also plays on Valkyrie. But, beyond saying that Serena is fantastic and unbelievable and all the stuff we would imagine, from an all-star, he shared with me that she was the only Street Fighter 6 player really in the school. And she went out and she got other kids to join the varsity team.
Wow.
And so, you're talking about just somebody making things happen. And so he was just so excited. Said she just hit master rank, in Street Fighter 6, and she's been playing.
I'm sorry. Back up.
Yeah.
Serena's the only Street Fighter player that came out for the team for SPF.
Right.
Made All-Star.
Right.
Number 1 first team All-Star.
Yep.
Went out and recruited. That team is ranked 2nd in the playoffs.
Yep. All because
Pretty good recruiting job by
right?
Serena.
All because she wanted to make it happen for her team. So she's getting it done in Valk. She's getting it done in Street Fighter 6. She's getting it done in SPF and making things happen. And, Coach Ray said she's an academic weapon and she's a fantastic leader. And you're talking about, what more could you want when you think about what Garden State Esports was supposed to be about and, going beyond the game and making things happen and growing and sharing and building community. So definitely want to acknowledge Serena, and look, she's over Lucas here. She's over Luigi Kid. You're talking about the best Smash player in the state. Serena, getting on that level, man. Proud. Really exciting. Cool stuff. So congratulations to her. Congratulations to her family, SPF. Sounds like they got a good one over there with Serena. So shout out to her. And like I said, following the Packinator, Kayla from Barnegat's footsteps. Could be our next potential co-ed state champ. We'll see. Very cool. And then speaking of Valkyrie for Overwatch, we got Jaden, we got Olivia from her PatCon. Jaden, great caster, casted our coaches versus students. Could have done a little bit better, Mike. You guys could have played a little bit better. Anyway.
We were just so proud that we've coached these kids to a level that they could play like that.
Yeah, the master students become the master. I get it. There we see Serena again, not just a Valkyrie player, co-ed player. She's back up on the all-star board. We have Shay, the absolute Overwatch legend, out of the Comets. Again, multi-time all-star, at least 2. Not sure, might even be 3, but Shay's always cool, helps us out with production too. Just a upstanding, fantastic person. We got Nancy from West Essex. We got a couple from West Essex. Give me a quick shout out about the Valk team.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of freshmen coming together. They know each other from the fencing program.
You guys have a fencing program?
We have a fencing program.
Wow.
Apparently.
Okay.
Which is great for me because they gave me a bunch of Overwatch players. But a bunch of freshmen from the fencing team, coupled with some veteran leadership you'll see on the second team. El Regis has been in my program since they were a freshman, and has really sort of taken these freshmen under their wing, and they've grown together. So it was really nice to see them get the recognition for their play and their teamwork, because 3 of them made this list, and I could only vote 6 times. So so other people are voting for them. So it's it's nice to see the recognition for their play coming from other coaches and recognizing them, because they put in the work. They're there every day. Nancy's also on our varsity team.
Nice.
So that's cool to see as well, that she's double dipping and succeeding, as I knew she could.
There you go. And so we got on that second team, we got Rihanna from Mercer Tech, an absolute celebrity. We got Ania as well from Mercer Tech, and then we got Brenna from Hapatcong, and then we got Delaney backing up Jaden there as the second team alternate. So really cool, excited to see them all play. Valkyrie, is one of my favorite things to watch because as intense as our girls and non-binary friends are, it's always nice to watch them after. Lift each
Yeah.
other up, high five. I know a lot of the Valkyrie folks and a lot of the Valkyrie supporting crew, the casters, production, especially out of Mercer Tech. I know a lot of them have all become friends. I'm fairly positive. The Comets and Mercer Tech are always hanging out and stuff like that. So it's really cool to see the community too that's coming out of Valkyrie. So congratulations to all of our Valkyrie Overwatch All-Stars. Definitely going to be honored at Brookdale, so we hope everybody comes out so that way we can all clap for you. And then we got Overwatch 2 All-Stars. So even though we had we have 4 state champs, we broke it out into 4 groups. We decided to keep All-Stars tight. We want it to really be, the prestigious honor that it is. So we're not having, 4 teams of All-Stars or anything. We're going to keep it at first and second team All-Stars. There he is right there. The legend himself, Mr. Nick. Is it Lever or Lever?
It's Lever.
Lever. He fancy.
Yeah, he's the biggest of warriors.
Okay.
His username is Big Warrior.
There you go.
Look for him.
What's he?
For him at New Haven.
Who's he play?
Well, I'm not gonna give that away.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
No, so he's our tank. He's our captain. He was with the program last year. Came out as a junior. First team All-State last year. First team All-State this year. Great kid. Deserves it all. He shows up every day, ready to work.
Yeah.
He's always on the side talking to our contenders team, our Valk team, giving pointers, sharing tips, encouragement. Just one of those kids that you just love to have in the program.
There you go. And the hard work pays off because he's on his way to New Haven.
He's on his way to New Haven, going to be a Charger. Hopefully he's on his way to Brookdale, going to get a belt.
There you go. But then we got Lucas from Oakcrest. We got Zach from Woodbury. We got Elias from Rancocas Valley. We got Caitlin from Manasquan. We got Carter from Burnett. We got Edwin from Pleasantville. Warren from Wayne. Kai from Gammy. We got Finn from Long Branch. And then we have as our first team alternate, somehow he snuck in. If you
I didn't even know he played Overwatch.
If you guys didn't know, kind of like how Superman's real name is Clark Kent, Ian, and I always say his name wrong, and he yells at me, Vendiendi. That's Ham Polo. Ham Polo locking up an Overwatch 2 All-Star spot. Number 1 caster in our heart, and now first team alternate for Overwatch, joined by Sam out of West Milford. So.
And a quick shout out for another double dipper there, Kai from Absagami. He was a second team All-Star for Street Fighter.
All right. Love to see it. Love to see the talent. And I like that we got a little representation. We got Caitlin from Manasquan on there like that. Wonderful. Cool. Ham Polo. I wonder if he could cast Overwatch too. To find out. Maybe. We might need him. Now that we got Protroid, we're cloning Protroid, and he's going to cast, he's going to cast it all at the same time. But, yeah, fantastic. But what else we got? Walk us through.
So here's the breakdown of the winter playoffs. There in the yellow box is some important information. Playoff matches will be played at the default time on their listed day. We want to make sure we get these in. We want to make sure we get them in timely. We want to make sure that the scores are, because you won't know your next round opponent until the scores are all input for this round of matches. So we want to make sure these are played when they're supposed to be played. All playoff schedules must be approved by a GSE team member. Yep. So if your school doesn't get out in time, or your school gets out late and your kids have to go home, reach out to us. Odds are we're going to be okay with it. But my one player is sick and I don't feel like using a sub is not a valid reason to move your playoff match. These matches get played on their default time. Commitment is part of the game. To use an ancient sports cliche, The greatest ability is availability. So you have to
true.
play these matches on the day most 95 times out of 100. But
Yep.
we see here that our first rounds start very next week. They start on Tuesday with our rounds of 16 in Omega Strikers and Street Fighter, our Valkyrie Overwatch semifinals, and the first round of all of the group brackets for Overwatch.
Beautiful.
Then followed up just the very next week, we'll finish up the remote portions of our playoff brackets again Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And if you win those, you don't have to play the next week until Saturday when we see you at Brookdale.
Wonderful.
Coaches, you will see these matches appear over the weekend. We'll make fancy looking brackets that we will post out. Those matches will show up in your dashboard so that you can reach out to your opposing coach and just double confirm that the match is taking place on the correct time and date. Exchange any. We're going to lock those rosters this weekend as well. So make sure that you have all of the substitutes and starters that you might possibly need for the entire playoffs entered into the portal by the time rosters lock. You can always move a sub to a starter or a starter to a sub. That's your prerogative. That does not lock out. But you can't add or remove people or change their names or anything like that after we lock the rosters. Who you've got is who you have to ride with until the end.
Correct. And when are we locking rosters?
We're going to lock rosters tomorrow.
There we go. So, and I think the only other thing we want to share is that with the playoffs, there is an expectation that you stream your matches. So
Yes,
that way
we want to see them.
We want to see them.
You guys are great, especially like with all these Overwatch matches splitting into these 4 groups. We want to give these playoffs room to breathe. If you can stream it, even if you don't have anybody saying anything, sit a kid at a computer in the spectator slot, spectate your team, click left click, right click 4 or 5 times. Let us see everybody because we want to see them. We want to see these matches. We want to get clips for the matches, maybe turn them into highlight reels, stuff like that. Just get it out there. This is the upper echelon of Scholastic Esports. We're talking state championship of the biggest state in high school esports in the country. So let's get it on Twitch.
And here for the first time is your Brookdale semifinals and state finals schedule.
Yeah, so we've got the address there, so you can give that to your bus driver. We're talking 8 a.m. doors open at Brookdale. We're in their I don't know what SLC stands for. The SLC building, Student Life Center.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to go learning, but
we are in the Student Life Center. Student Life Center. Doors open at 8. We have 2 stages running simultaneously just to get everything in a single day. We have hours upon hours of Overwatch to get through. So we will be using their esports arena, which is super cool. Get it on the YouTubes. They got a hype video there. Student Learning Center, says Tinners in the chat.
I was right.
Whatever. And then we have another stage that we're building in a large room of the SLC. We're splitting the day by game. So if you're an Omega Strikers team and you live way up in North Jersey or way down in South Jersey, you can get there a little bit later. We just want to make sure that the day isn't infinitely long for people. So we're playing Overwatch in the morning. You can see the Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, and Group 4 finals. We follow that up by stopping everything so that we can recognize our all-stars and have everybody appreciate their accomplishment. Then we get back into it with some Omega Strikers in the arena and the Valkyrie Overwatch final up on the stage. And then we have our Street Fighter final. Street Fighter semis, and then finish up back down in the arena with the Omega and Street Fighter finals. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be loud. It's going to be packed. You're going to meet people that you've been playing online, which is always the most fun part of it, to put faces to names and be like, oh man, you headshot me 4 times on Kings Row. Like, great. Nice to see you.
Where do I get those hacks? That's it.
And when we get to Brookdale, we're going to send these slides out. So we always like to include a map of where the heck this is happening on the campus. Also on the Saturday we're there is going to be a gigantic cheerleading convention. So if you get to the stage with all the girls in skirts, you are not in the right place. We're the nerds in the dark behind the computer screens. But anyway, we've got we have a program that we're going to share out as well for everybody. But Brookdale wants us to park all the way over there in Lot 1, which is on Museum Drive, and then there's a very scenic pathway from the lot straight to the SLC building. So you can park your bus over there in Lot 1, and then walk on over to the SLC.
There we go. So, that'll do it for our seating show. Mike, as always, thank you and the competition team for all the hard work you guys put together every season, and all the math and the number crunching and the spreadsheets and the checking and the double checking. Much appreciated as always. So you and Coach Weiss and everybody else that you guys got on the team, Coach DeMarco and Seeley and I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of folks, but we appreciate everything that you guys are doing, making sure that the competitions are always fantastic, and the live events are always wonderful, and doing what we need to do, like breaking out into 4 group sizes to make sure that we give everybody the opportunity to shine. So much appreciated, and can't wait to see everybody at Brookdale. I will let me see if I can manage to get it into the chat, but I'll drop the link for tickets to Brookdale. If you're a coach, you can get tickets for your program, right? You don't have to individually grab tickets. We want to make it easy for you guys. But if you're coming out, please make sure you grab a ticket. They're free, but it helps us show sponsors and a lot of other folks just how big our events are. I was talking to some pretty high up folks in the Department of Ed and some other stuff today, and in one sense they can't believe how big the league is, so making sure you grab your tickets and all that good stuff is definitely appreciated.
And
Yeah.
Brookdale's the most centrally located event we have on the calendar this year.
Mhm.
It's in North South Jersey. I'm not going to use the other phrase people like to use to describe it, but it's in northern South Jersey.
Yes.
Unlike we had a northern final in the fall, we're going to be down at Stockton in the spring. So if you're going to come to one just to hang out and watch and see what it's all about, Brookdale is going to be the most convenient for everyone in the state. And you haven't seen it until you've seen it. These live events, we put them on Twitch. We've got camera angles and stuff, but to be there and feel the environment in the community and just the hype, and it's so fun to be around. So even if if your team's not playing, convince your club advisor to get a bus, come on down, convince your parents to come, just to see what esports is all about, because taking it from online to in person is just a completely different animal, and really just heightens the level of that competition. Like going to, district wrestling meets, sectional group track meets, like just everyone milling around with a common purpose and celebrating the competition that's taking place up on
Yeah.
stage.
It's really the best.
It's just so fun.
Look forward to it every day, every season, and Brookdale should be great. And it's open to the public, so invite your parents, invite your friends, have them come out and support you. Come out for a great day. We'll have some educational sessions. We'll have a lot of other stuff going on, vendors, being able to talk to some of the colleges, because again, the colleges aren't just there to recruit people in the semis and finals for esports. They're happy to talk to any kid interested in their school. So we should have about a dozen. Hopefully we're going to have some t-shirts, like Miss Schaefer is pointing out in the chat. But excited to have another great event, and thanks everybody for watching. That'll do it. That'll do it for the winter.
That'll do it.
And speaking of the winter, spring
spring
registration is now open. I just hit the button. Mike punched the button. So you guys can now register for the Spring Club Advisors. The titles are Valorant, 2v2 Rocket League, and 2v2 Smash. And we've got
high school. We've got middle school. We've got Valkyrie Valorant. we've got Valkyrie Smash.
Yeah. And
Get in
then-
there.
And then, get in there, get registered, and we got a lot of cool stuff. The finals are booked already for the spring. We'll be at Stockton May 18th. Gonna blow it out like we always do. Stockton's a great partner, and they're all about the razzle dazzle like we are. So, Stockton, be a great finals too. So get registered, get ready, practice, playoffs, Stockton. Come to Brookdale for the winter. And thanks for watching.
Yeah. GLHF.
Don't be sour like a lemon, take a swig of your pop. Don't let yourself loose, don't make yourself stop. Express yourself, don't make yourself stop. Express yourself, you'll be feeling on top. I don't know how to say this, how to tell you can't resist. Boy, when you put on a show, I hit the floor, my legs go jelly. I'm going coconut, I'm feeling it too much. I'm going coconut, my legs feel like jelly. Getting frisky, boy, talk to me, baby, turning red like a cherry. Oh, I'm going coconut. We're getting wavy like we can do this all night, making jello delight. We can do this all night, come and get it tonight. Oh, getting frisky, boy, talk to me, baby, turning red like a cherry. Oh, I'm going coconut. Don't be hiding when you need and take a chance on the spot. Don't be spilling milkshake, give it all you got. Express yourself, don't make yourself stop. Express yourself, you'll be feeling on top. I don't know how to say this, how to tell you can't resist. Boy, when you put on a show, I hit the floor, my legs go jelly. I wanna be so very, I wanna feel like every moment is alive. Heavy, my heart tells me I'm ready. You take me on the roller coaster of my life. My legs go. I don't know how to say this, how to tell you can't resist. Boy, when you put on a show, I hit the floor, my legs go jelly. I'm going coconut, I'm feeling it too much. I'm going coconut, my legs feel like jelly. Getting frisky, boy, talk to me, baby, turning red like a cherry. Oh, I'm going coconut. We're getting. We can do this all night, making jello delight. We can do this all night, come and get it tonight. Oh, getting frisky, boy, talk to me, baby, turning red like a cherry. Oh, I'm going coconut. We can do this all night, making jello delight. We can do this all night, come and get it tonight. My legs go jelly.
So where did we leave off? The last time I remember, it was late December, sitting out in the parking lot, taking midnight drives on the empty highway. It feels like so long ago, but like yesterday too, you know. Now we just wanna go back again, and I can't help thinking about that feeling. Here where we wanna be, different vicinity. Now it's clear we can do whatever, 'cause you're right here. tired checking the calendar, crossing off the days. Now I'm on my way. It feels like so long ago, but like yesterday too, you know. Now we just wanna go back again, and I can't help thinking about that feeling. Here where we wanna be, different but still a bit. Now it's clear we can do whatever 'cause you're right here. We can do whatever 'cause you're right here. We can do whatever 'cause you're right here. It feels like so long ago, but like yesterday too, you know. Now we just wanna go back again.